everybody. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Big Blue Kickoff Live, presented by Cadillac, the official luxury vehicle of the Giants. I am John Schmeelk, joined by Jonathan Casillas. We'll take your calls at 201-939-4513. We're in the Hackensack Bernie Held podcast studio. Keep getting better. Mr. Casillas, how are you, my friend?
I am good, bro. How are you, sir?
It's a big rivalry game for the Casillases, taking on your former team in the Saints. So why don't we start there? Playing in the Superdome, what is that gonna be like for the Giants on Sunday for a guy that's very familiar with the building?
The Superdome is extremely loud. No matter if it's full, or if it's at about half capacity, which is never at, but it's always loud. I don't know about the engineering dynamics in there, but it's extremely loud. When I was playing defense there, the number one thing I wanted to do was get the crowd hyped. So the Giants offense will be up against, I think, the noisiest environment, especially for this young quarterback that they have been in probably a long time. And we have to see how the Giants do. The Giants have made mistakes on offense, pre-snap penalties, and communication might be an issue for the offense because how loud it is in the Superdome.
So let me ask you this part of it, because the Giants did use no huddle a fair amount in that game last week at home against the Chargers. Is that possible in an environment like that? And what's the adjustment like? Is it all then hand signals? Like, how does that work?
I would say yes, but remember, young quarterback, only making his second start. How familiar is he with all of the hand movements, right? All of the hand motions, all of the signals that, that are, nonverbal, right? Mm-hmm. How familiar is he? It'd be really a surprise to me if he just runs it without being able to talk to his players, which some teams do. I just don't know if he's there yet. And I do expect there might be some type of issues that the Giants might have because the Superdome's loud. You got a young quarterback who it's not that he's not familiar. It's just he's learning so many new things.
He has played in a bunch of loud stadiums in the SEC.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
It's not that he doesn't have familiarity. It's just this is a new offense for him. He's been here for a few months, really. Let's really think about it. He's only been here for a few months.
Yep.
He's only been the starter for 2 weeks, right? That's 6 practices? And I'm pretty sure they was pumping, in the noise here at practice, but that can't replicate the Superdome.
So if they do have issues, what does that look like? Are we talking pre-snap penalties? Are we talking out of sync with maybe some of the pre-snap motion stuff? Are we talking not getting the protections right? What if there are issues with the noise? How do those manifest themselves in the game? I
think you hit it right there, and those all things that can break down an offense, and then false start penalties from any position because you're probably going on a silent count. That has to be chemistry there, and it takes a while for that to develop, Schmeelk. And like I said, it's only really been 6 practices before he's starting this game that he's going to have with the starting team. So. Best of luck to Jackson playing in the Superdome. But look, the kid's built for it. I think the kid, he's a guy that, plays up to the competition. I think he's a guy that rises, to the occasion when his number is called.
Things aren't too big for him, it doesn't seem like.
No, not at all. I just hope he makes some smart decisions, especially when he's running the football down the field.
Well, and look, and the other part of the smart decision part too, JC, I didn't mean to interrupt you. He never really put the ball in danger last week, except for the one fumbled snap.
Yep.
Other than that, throwing the football, he really only threw it to guys if they were really open.
Yeah, and he was decisive. Right, he was decisive. He definitely, I think,
he held it a little bit here or there.
Tucked the ball, right? But I'm talking about when he decided to run.
Yes, correct.
He made those really decisive things. I think those situations that you're talking about when he held on, I think that was just because he was trying to be a passer and he did not want to run the football. You know what I mean?
I agree with that.
So for him trying to do that, there's still a clock that has to be there because these guys, these defensive ends in this league. I mean, Cameron Jordan has 120-something career sacks, right? Had one against Buffalo last week. So he's going to have pressure. He's going to have guys that are relentless after him. He has to have that clock in his head.
Yeah, no question about it. And look, let's talk about then this Saints defense. Brandon Staley, fans should know him, former head coach of the Chargers. Before that, defensive coordinator for the Rams under Sean McVay. And this is not going to be all that dissimilar, JC, to what Dart saw last week against the Chargers. Again, near the bottom of the league in terms of number of times they play cover one. Makes sense. They don't have a bunch of really top cornerbacks on this team to man up. They're not going to blitz a ton. It is more than what the Chargers did last week, but I don't think you're going to see a ton of blitzes. And it's a lot of zone, and it's a lot of trying to keep two guys over the top, not let guys get behind you. So that, at least for Dart, should look pretty familiar going from last week to this week.
Yeah, unless they just switch up the game plan, right?
Which, by the way, and it's funny, I was told...
Remember, they were going against Josh Allen last week.
Right. Well, no, I just mean in terms of what the Chargers did to the Giants last week. What the Saints did will be similar, I think, this week, what they do to the Giants. But... And I think this is what we're going to see moving forward now. And I'm going to get back to the neighbors part of this whole thing because he's not here anymore.
Yeah.
And JC, you can speak to this. When you're a defense and you go up to a team and you're playing a team in any given week, and you don't have really any real fear for their wide receivers, what do you want to do?
Get the quarterback.
But outside with your secondary, how do you want to play those wide receivers?
Play them tough. Play them up front. Get the guys in their faces.
You press and you play man.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
but
what you
again,
want to do.
that's frustrating the quarterback because you're getting hands on his targets.
Now, that's not what the Chargers do, and they didn't make that adjustment last week after Neighbors went out of the game. They kept playing two safeties deep.
Yep.
They kind of let the Giants run the ball as they wanted to. Now, they weren't getting huge chunks, but they were getting 3, 4, 5 yards at a clip. And I wonder if the Chargers are going, because I know some teams are, like when they put the Eagles and Vic Fangio, they're not going to give the Giants receivers any breathing space.
Right.
They're just not.
Yeah.
Will the Chargers make that adjustment based on who the Giants wide receivers are be as Neighbors? What did I say? The
Chargers, yeah.
Will the Saints make that adjustment? Sorry. This week, based on who the Giants have out there at wide receiver, given Neighbors' lack of explosiveness on the field?
They should. Because Neighbors is a game changer, right? You, every week you go in as a defense, you go to look at who's the blue chip players, right? And they're literally in blue on a scattering report because they're elite players. Neighbors is gone. The Giants really don't have another guy that maybe he's even in the category right underneath elite, which is great or whatever you want to call it, besides Andrew Thomas, right? So what do you want to do? You got a rookie quarterback. What do you do with a rookie quarterback? You fluster him. So I think we're going to see some things that maybe we haven't seen on film. From this defense and the Saints because of the rookie quarterback, because of the absence of Malik
And that
Neighbors.
was my question. That's exactly what I wanted to know.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what you do. Is like, who do we figure out how to stop? It's like, well, the quarterback because he's young. So let's give him different looks. And they move around a lot. I see a lot of similarities to both offense and defense with the Saints and the Giants, like both sides of the ball. The defense, especially last week against the Bills, I haven't watched the other games. I'm going to do that. Mm-hmm. But I broke down the 22, and I'm watching. I'm like, man, there's a lot of problems, a lot of young DBs, a lot of safeties not being in the right position that allowed a lot of big runs. That's the Giants. That's what the Giants have been doing a lot this year against the run.
They had missed tackles against James Cook last week.
Oh, yeah, a lot of missed tackles. A lot of missed tackles.
Yeah.
Their DBs didn't tackle that well. I mean, Davis, he's one of the great tackles in the league. He didn't tackle that well. I mean, the Bills receiver, what's the guy named Shakir?
Mm-hmm.
He missed the tackle on the big touchdown that he had early in the game. Mm-hmm. And this is one of the best tacklers in the league in Demario Davis. So I think they will improve there. And look, if you're going against the Giants this week, for me, you don't have Neighbors. The Giants want to run the football. You think about a team that struggles in the red zone. What do they want to do? They want to run the football. That's the Giants. So I think the number one goal for the Saints defense is going to stop the Giants run game. And Jackson Dart's run game too.
You took the words out of my mouth. So I agree. I think you stop Cam Scatteraboo early. You try to get Jackson Dart into second and third and longs. And then, JC, at some point, and I don't know if it's going to be a spy, I don't know if it's just going to be keeping a couple linebackers a little bit more shallow in their zone coverages, eventually teams are going to say, look, we're not going to let this guy beat us with his legs.
Right.
Remember, he's not Lamar Jackson. He's not Josh Allen. He's a good scrambler. He's a good athlete. He's not elite, right? He's not some guy that's going to be shaking guys and making guys miss in the open field. So at some point, and does it happen this week, do teams say, Jackson, we're going to take away the scramble part of your game. Yeah. You can do that. If you're a defense and you want to set yourself to do that.
It's hard to do that, though.
Well,
you can do it.
Talk about some of the ways a defense can do that and how maybe that might open some other things up for the Giants.
With number one, you can't ever let the offense know exactly what you're doing. Right? Like if you line up guys, which I've seen the Giants do with Abdul Carter, he's obviously the spy in the situation. You know, like he's off the ball, he's kind of moving around and he stays there. It's easy when you know where the spy is at. Even if you have a spy, it's easy when you know because you can manipulate him by stepping up one way and going the other way, right? you have to give different looks to this offense. And like I said, when you got a young quarterback, you give him different looks, right? You make him see something before the snap, and on the snap, he sees something else, right? Maybe he thought the pressure was coming from this side and it's coming from the other side. It's no real recipe on how to exactly do it, because Lamar Jacksons of the world, the guys that, built scrambling into their playmaking abilities like Josh Allen, they just torch you. Like, no matter what defense you have, it's a little bit of luck that's involved, in situations like that. But I love the confidence that Jackson Dart plays with. I love the confidence that Scatterable has, because when you look at the loss of Malik Nabers, which is huge, you're losing a primary target, one of the better receivers in the league. He's not a better young receiver. He's one of the top guys in the league.
You cannot overstate how losing a guy like that can impact an offense.
That's it.
It's a big deal.
But if you look at the Giants last week, without him, who was the guys? It was Dart and it was Scatterable. And it wasn't just their play on the field and how they basically were both physical beings running a football. I don't know why Jackson Dart tried to do that stiff arm late. He ended up coming out for a play or two. But, he has to learn.
And he even said, dude, that was a mistake.
Yeah.
That might have been a bad idea.
He has to learn. And even Cam Scatterable, he's not a big guy. He's small. But the physicality that he brings to this offense, I think they feed off of it.
No, I think they do too. I agree with you.
And that's going to be for the Giants. It's like, all right, what do we do against the Saints offense? It's like, all right, Saints defense. We're going to run the ball. We're going to establish a physical mentality. So on the Saints, you have to be thinking the same thing. We're not going to allow them to run the ball on us. They gave up a lot of rushing yards last week. Buffalo can run against anybody, but they also ran the ball very well, especially in the first half last week against Buffalo. So I think this is going to be another game like we saw last week from the Giants in offensively trying to run the football, and I think the Saints are going to take the same approach.
I agree with you. All right, so let's look at the Saints offense now. It's funny. Spencer Rattler coming out, if you watched him in college, he was kind of like this freewheeling, throw the ball down the field, make big plays, but he was inconsistent. He would make mistakes. He'd throw picks. And he's kind of pulled that back a lot here this year. 5 touchdowns, just 1 interception on the year. Good touchdown-interception ratio. But the Saints only have 4 pass completions of 20 yards or more this year. Everything's been station to station. They have not made chunk plays. And their offense, they have some players that are good players. They have some high draft picks on the offensive line. But, JC, there's just no dynamicism to this offense where you're getting explosives and you're getting down the field. And I think that talking to a couple guys that cover the Saints, that's something that everyone knows has to come. And it just hasn't showed up yet.
Yeah, they're trying to figure it out what they are on offense. Spencer Rattler, to be honest with you, he looks like Jackson Dart on film against the Bills.
The way he ran last week, it was very similar. I agree with you.
The RPO game, they were doing a lot of RPO stuff with him. And I'm looking at their big plays. Their biggest play is to Shaheed, 39 yards.
Chris Olave does not have a completion of over 15 yards yet. That's crazy. He's a good player.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, he is. Their leading receivers, their tight end, Juwan Johnson, who's a great tight end now.
And also missed practice yesterday, by the way.
What, meaning like injured practice?
Yep.
Okay.
Ankle.
I was going to say he just missed it?
No, ankle.
He hurt. I remember the catch that he hurt himself on. But yeah, so the Giants are going to have to do a good job, I believe, in the run game. And if you do a good job in a run game, you can make them one-dimensional. And I don't think Spencer Rattler is going to be the guy to beat you, especially what the Giants did to Justin Herbert last week, right? And I said this on Hangouts the other day. Watching the film again, I don't know why the Chargers threw the ball as much as they did.
Neither do I.
When the run game was working for them,
I agree.
And it wasn't just 1 or 2 plays. It was not. Which Paul Dottino was like, JC, it was just, if you take away the long run by the running back and then you take away the Herbert scrambled, he was like, yeah. And I'm like, no, Paul, that wasn't what happened. The Giants were leaky the whole game. They were getting big first downs throughout the game. They averaged 11 yards a carry.
I think he had only, 1, maybe 2 negative runs the whole game?
Everything was getting the first downs, and look, when you watch that on film, you got to say, how do we beat this offense? How do we beat this defense? The defense made a point last week. Good luck passing the ball against us. That's what they said on film. That's what that film looked like. Good luck passing the ball on us. So if I was the Saints, if I was the Saints, I would say, okay, we're not going to try to throw the ball 50 times against them. We're going to run the ball as much as possible. We're going to do the RPO game. We're going to put the ball in Spencer Rattler's hands to run the football because that gives us an extra blocker. So I do see the offense for the Saints attacking the Giants defense in the run game because the lack of explosivity, right, on offense. They just don't have it there.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I was impressed by both running backs against the Bills.
Yep.
Kamara still looks pretty good.
Yep. Kendrick Miller looked great against them.
Kendrick Miller looked excellent.
Yeah, he did.
Ran with power,
Downhill.
explosion, downhill between the tackles. I liked how they kind of kept using Kamara. They kind of ran right at the offensive tackle.
Yeah.
And if he gets blocked out, and then if he blocks the edge player out, he goes inside. If he blocks the edge player in, then he'll just kind of try to get to the sideline a little bit. So this Saints run game is good. And you're going to have to do a good job against it.
And they have linemen out. So what you don't want to do is have younger guys in there and put them in a lot of passing situations, give them confidence and run the ball early. I see a fast game early, meaning a lot of runs early from both sides.
I agree.
I see it being low scoring. I see it being a battle, kind of who can run the ball, who can establish that. And the Giants got to do good in third and good in the red zone. These teams haven't been good on either one of those situations. They haven't been good in red and haven't been good in the red zone. So, on third down.
Yep.
So this is a game. It's like, all right, this team is 0-4, right? The Giants are 1-3. This is a team that's like, all right, we can do something. Both sides are thinking that. Both sides are thinking like, we can go into this game and do what we need to do to get back on track.
I joke. Giant fans are all pumped. Oh, you're playing an 0-4 Saints team. You have a chance to go 2-3. You know what the Saints are saying?
Right.
The Giants are the last team we beat last year. The Saints have lost like 10 straight games. The last game,
I didn't know that.
The last team the Saints beat were the Giants. Spencer Rattler has not won an NFL start yet.
Right. Yeah, he's 0-10, I believe. Mm-hmm. That's insane.
It's crazy.
That's insane.
So the Saints are sitting there licking their chops like, it's time to get off the schneid here for us.
Yeah.
So that's kind of both. That's how both teams are looking at this.
And for any fans out there who are real fans, there's no such thing as an easy game. I'm sorry, it's just not. I don't care what their record is.
They're all pros.
They're all pros. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the ball doesn't bounce their way. There's not a lot of blowouts in the NFL, and if it happens, it's not even the worst team. Last year, what was it? Bills beat Miami like 70-20 after Miami beat somebody like 50. Like that happens every now and again, but most games are one possession games, possibly two possession games. And if you watch the film last week, the Saints were better than the Bills in the first half last week.
If they don't throw that interception on that Philly special, they're winning the game at halftime.
They had multiple opportunities in the second quarter to take the lead.
Absolutely.
They had an interception. Olave had to drop on third down on third and 8.
He's had uncharacteristic drops this year. It's been very weird. He's a good player.
And then another time where they dropped the interception, which like all those happened in like the span of 3 to 5 minutes. You could have got a lead then, but things don't happen that way. This is not like, of course, the season is still early. Like teams haven't given up. Like there's no like, oh, this team's giving up. No, nobody's giving up. I don't care what their record is. You're going to get the Saints' best job. They're going to play their best football this Sunday in the Superdome that they played all year, because that's what you do when you're 0-4. What do we need to do? They've already improved their penalties, right? They've been a penalty-laden team when they went up to Seattle. They had penalties all over the place. I think they only had a couple, maybe 4 or 5 last week against the Bills. So they're trying to show up. They're trying to make themselves a disciplined team that can win football games. And it's starting this weekend against the Giants.
All right, before we get to your calls, a quick look at the injury report. It is rather lengthy for both these teams.
Both sides,
So I want to make sure that fans know what's going on. All right, for the Giants yesterday, Tyron Tracy did not practice. He's not quite there yet. He's going to need a little bit more time to get that shoulder right. Tyler Newman did not practice with a groin injury. And both other Giant safeties were limited. Dane Belton with the shoulder, Javon Holland with the neck. So that position is one to watch for sure for the Giants this week. Greg Van Roten had a rest day. Dexter Lawrence was sick. He was not in the building. So you figure those two guys are going to be fine. DJ Davidson, Chauncey Golston, John Michael Schmitz, Nacho all limited. I think the thought is that Nacho could make it back this week after missing the last couple of games. And then Dart with a hamstring, Scadaboo with a knee. They both practiced in full.
Good.
Dart said he feels great moving forward. And then Russell Wilson had an ankle. He had a full participation as well. For the Saints, again, stuff to keep an eye on this week. Juwan Johnson, ankle, did not practice. He's been great for them this year. He's played almost like 90. Yeah, go ahead. He's played almost like 90% of the snaps.
Yeah.
His snap count's been unbelievable. Trevor Penning, who did miss the first 3 games of the year, he returned last week.
Yep.
My guess is that's just a maintenance thing because I don't think he left that game last week.
Right.
So he is an ankle. I would expect him to play. Cesar Ruiz, their starting guard, he's out for probably about a month with an ankle injury. His backup would be, I think it's Dylan Radins. I don't think it's Raduns. I believe it's Dylan Radins. He is a toe. He would be the guy to play if Ruiz can't go. And then if Radins can't go, it's going to be Torricelli Simpkins, I believe, at guard, a rookie. that would go at guard. And then Chase Young's not going to play this week. He's been out all year with a calf injury. Taysom Hill, Foster Moreau just got brought off of IR. My guess is that it's going to take more than a week to get them going. Yeah. So I'm thinking probably not for them. And then Trey Palmer, Justin Reed, Justin Ridgway also just got taken off IR, and Isaac Yiadom all were limited. Former Giant Isaac Yiadom, by the way. So a lot of injuries for both teams to track this week. Important to keep an eye on those. JC mentioned the Giants Hangout. Well, that is, I believe, up right now on Giants.com. So go check that out. You hang out. Is it SciTech or Brandon London this week?
London.
So you got Casillas, London, Manolin, and Russ. They have some fun.
Yep.
And I was a little annoyed. Russ did not ask the trivia question I wanted to ask. So I'm going to ask you the trivia question right now.
What is it?
Okay. This Super Bowl winner with the Saints has, I'm trying to remember the number, had 1.5 career sacks for the Giants and started 21 games.
Me?
Yeah, that's correct.
I didn't think about it for a second.
That is correct. You. It is you. That is correct.
That's funny.
I would
if I would have got that one wrong, that would have been bad.
I would have Russ asked it to the group, and you would have been like, "Oh, I know who it is." I would have seen Brandon and Madeline. We're going to be able to figure that one out.
I got the wrong answer on Hangouts, and it was a guy on my team. And he gave me the initials and everything, and I was like...
By the way, Russ's line... That boy, JC, you're on the field. Your defense is getting 50 points an awful lot. Very funny.
He killed me.
It is true, though. You kept bringing up games. We get 50 points then. Oh, we get 50 points there.
It's so bad. Okay, I haven't been a part of too many of those games, but both times I was on the Giants or the Saints versus the Giants or the Saints. Like, I was either part of the defense. That's so bad, though. That's so bad. Like... He was asking me questions, and I was like,
"Oh, it's funny.
I don't remember that game because I blocked it out. Like, it doesn't even exist to me anymore."
But it did happen, and JC played a pivotal role in that excellent defensive performance by the New York Football Giants and the New Orleans Saints, for that matter. Yeah. All right, 201-939-4513. Let's go to Tim in Charleston to lead us off today. Tim, what's going on, man?
Hey, guys. Hey, John, Jonathan.
What's up,
What's up, dude?
Two things, one on offense, one on defense. First of all, Dart clearly changes, for my mind anyway, this entire offense in that there's just so many more options. There's so many more possibilities of things that they can run in the playbook.
Tim, I agree with you. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Let me just add something very quickly. I'm curious to see if JC agrees, and then you can continue. I don't think the way the Giants worked in the passing game last week is something you could sustain over a long period of time.
No, you can't. I don't think so.
No.
Listen,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm not too like, oh my gosh, they really didn't, try to get explosive, really. It's more like they're trying to ease him in, I think.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
Right.
I think they're trying to ease him in.
But you are going to win games with Jackson Dart's main weapon being his legs.
And Tim's point, with that being said, they easing him in, he still did more than we've seen.
No, absolutely.
From Russell and the play call that they gave Russell.
No, look, the way I put it last week is Dart was a playmaker.
Yeah.
Some of the art of playing quarterback stuff can certainly get better, taking sacks, seeing guys open down the field, things like that. But he was a playmaker, and he made plays when he had to, and that helped, to your point, plays that maybe Russ at his advanced age can't make anymore. And Dart was able to keep the possessions alive, especially on third down with some of those plays.
And Tim, John, I think when all said and done this season, when we look back at who Jackson Dart is, I think that's the name we're going to call him. He's a playmaker.
Tim, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, last week, that first drive, even before we scored at the end of it, I had already texted a couple of people, this offense already looks different. And I no knock against Russ, because I like Russ. I'm glad we signed him and everything. But I don't think Russell Wilson could have executed that first drive because, that the no huddle and the constant motion and, the constant movement and just the way it kept.
Well, I don't think it was that stuff. I think it was that Dart ran four times for 50 yards.
The run.
I think that was the reason.
That too. But so the one thing on the offense this week, I mean, I think you're right. The Saints will probably try to key on cutting down on our rushing ability early and put us in longer ones, which means we've got to have the screen game. We've got to have the quick outs like we saw from Dart in the preseason where he takes like a 1.5, 2-step drop and he bing, zing, bing, zang, and just hitting guys quick out for 3 or 4 yards and just let them do with it what they can after that, and kind of keep the defense from concentrating too much on the run game. Now, I got to flip the page to the defense because as has always my concern, can we stop the run? Now, last week, even if you take out the big run from Hampton and the big run from Herbert, we still gave up an average of 6 yards a game. And last week against the Bills, the Saints put up 189 rushing yards.
Yep.
And if you take away Rattler's rushes, which there were 6 of those, they still averaged 5 yards per rush. And the Bills, the one fortunate thing, I looked it up because I said, oh, that bodes badly if the Bills have a good rush defense. They've actually allowed more yards on the ground than the Giants have this year. So that made me feel just slightly better. But I want to ask, Jonathan, I know it takes everyone. I've heard that from the coaches 18 times. It takes everyone. But really, what do the Giants have to do to stop these gashing runs up the middle, aside from stopping Rattler from scrambling? And I'll leave that to our pass rush. And hopefully when they're not getting there, they keep that edge solid so you can't slip underneath them. But, Jonathan, you played enough. You played in the middle. You know what it's like back there. What is the key to stopping this?
Thank you, Tim.
I'll take the rest off the air, guys.
Hey, always good to hear from you, buddy. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, Tim, great question, because the Giants haven't figured out how to do it quite yet. But what I've seen on film for the first 4 games, that sample size, I'm definitely not thinking about last year at all because they got different people here. What I'm seeing is just poor gap integrity on a consistent basis. Like on all the runs that the Giants are giving up, the bigger runs, it's gap integrity. And gap integrity is, you got A, B, C, D gaps, right? Everybody has a gap on defense. Everybody does. And then when they bring extra pullers and linemen, it creates extra gaps in other places. What I'm seeing from the Giants, sometimes they're not seeing pulls, and it's a lot of the younger guys too, the safeties. It's hard to see it from 10 yards deep, seeing a guard pull. But a lot of times they're just kind of a little bit out of place.
Can I ask you a specific play?
Yeah.
Because it was a pull. The play, I believe it was the 50. I think that was the long 50-yard run for a score by Hampton. Muasau takes on the first puller in the hole, if you remember right. And I've talked to Carl about this. He thinks Muasau needs to get to the outside shoulder of that first puller and then force him inside to Bobby. And, he's supposed to kind of get everybody. Basically the way Carl looked at it is that he said, look, everyone was playing outside leverage on that play, except for the one guy.
Yeah.
And then, Bobby's waiting for Muasau to force the runner back towards him inside. But Darius got the inside shoulder of the puller. That trapped Okereke inside. Adebo got, I believe, he got pushed out on a block by the second puller. I believe it was a wide receiver, number 9. And then that's how the kind of big hole happened.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the play. I think I remember it. That was...
I'll bring it up.
Okay, Muasau hitting the guard and kind of popping out almost. I can't remember it verbatim, but if you bring it up, I could definitely talk through it. But on plays like that, look, when you have guards pulling and people moving, and it's not just everybody stays in the same spot, but they're just zone blocking up, it creates extra gaps. And I think sometimes the guys that we don't think are supposed to make the play are sometimes supposed to make the play, right? Like a lineman staying on the backside of a block, when you think he's supposed to stay on the backside because it looks, but then if they pull, he actually supposed to go on the other side of that block. So without me looking at it, it could be a lot of different things, but it's usually sometimes a lineman not getting over on these pull plays sometimes.
All right, so here's the play right here. We're going to talk through it. So this is in the third quarter, folks, a minute 37. They're running a double puller. I think technically it might be like a counter tray, right?
Yep.
To the right. Alexander gets doubled. He gets pushed inside. You have 2 pullers coming in. You have a guard, then you have a wide receiver in motion. Muasau hits the first guard coming through, and then Okereke kind of gets trapped inside a little bit. So I was trying to figure out, did Okereke not scrape over Muasau like he was supposed to, or was Muasau supposed to get outside into the hole and force the running back into Bobby?
He probably was supposed to do exactly what he did, which is hit it thick and inside. People call it spill, but it's really thick and inside. And Bobby's literally scraping clean off his butt.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know, but watching it on film, how Muasau took it on, that's what it looks like it was supposed to be.
Assuming he took it on the right way.
Right. I mean, it's hard to know exactly what they're trying to do.
And again, folks, this, by the way, this goes back to the Steve Spagnuolo quote that was all over the internet the other day, where if you don't know what the guys are told in the meeting room and what to do on a specific play, it's very difficult to know who's right and who's wrong.
That's why when I look at things, it's like I see it and I see what we're seeing, but it's like I don't know who's wrong here. So you know
someone was in the wrong place.
Yeah.
It's just hard to know which guy messed it up.
But
right. No, I got you.
And the thing
and by the way, guys, this comes from someone that played the position.
Yeah.
So regular people watching at home, like, how are we supposed to figure this stuff out? You can't. Anyway, go ahead.
And also, too, it's hard to be an eraser at middle linebacker when everything's right in front of you. You know, it's easy to do it when you're coming back deep, 8, 10, 12 yards deep. But when you're up in the thick of it 3-4 yards away and things are happening, maybe he didn't – I want to say he didn't see it because he saw it. He's moving over that way, but maybe Muasau did hit it. Now he was supposed to – he tried to adjust to it a little too late. You can't do that in the NFL. These backs are too fast and they're too good. So – like playing with guys that do certain things, like you start learning the things that they do. It's like, oh, he was supposed to spill that, but he didn't. Or he's supposed to box that, but he didn't. It's like, all right, now that I know that he does stuff like that, I can play accordingly. You know what I mean? Like I'm playing with Snacks Harrison, right? OV, JPP. JPP, I love JPP. JP will go rogue every now and again. Just like Akeem Ayers. They'll go rogue.
Knowing JPP's personality, that is maybe the least surprising thing I've ever heard.
As you start building that connection with these guys, you start learning how to play with these guys. And Muasau hasn't got that much playing time. I mean, he has, but it's been Micah McFadden and Bobby Okereke basically for 2 years straight. 2.5 years. Two and a half years. And Muasau has been – so I think the familiarity with Muasau and how to play with him, because that's the thing, it's one of those guys' mistakes, I think, looking at that play. See, the Muasau hit it too much inside or Bobby Okereke didn't scrape good enough. Because he was where he was supposed to be, but he didn't get to the hole. The hole was there and big, but he got a little too nosy inside. So I don't know. I don't know who's wrong on that play, but that's what I'm talking about. That's gap integrity, right? Bobby, somebody wasn't in their gap. And that's the plays. You don't really see in the defensive backs, they're waiting on tackles, which is they're not going to win those. Like Adebo.
He's got to attack that, right?
A lot of times, not just that play. When receivers catch passes in front of him, he's just kind of waiting for them because maybe he's afraid to miss the tackle, but you don't have no power.
Like we saw that on a play earlier in the game when Omarion Hampton basically took him for a ride for about 8 yards because Adebo was kind of just standing there and tried to wrap him instead of attacking, right?
You got to think about these running backs, right? Hampton, Barkley's, all of these Scatterable, these guys squat for lunch. You know what I mean? Like these guys squatting 400-500 pounds. DBs weigh what, 190 to 205? They can put you and your teammate on their back and carry you.
And Adebo's actually a pretty big corner too.
But it doesn't matter if you're not playing with momentum, right? You're sitting there waiting on it. And I've seen that happen, not just from him, but from other players where they're breaking down a little too much and they have no power. And running backs are kind of running through them. I don't really see that from other positions, but the defensive backs for the Giants, I see them breaking down a little bit too much and not having the run through, right? Because look, a lot of people, I'm going to say a lot of people, but some people are scared to miss tackles because they don't want to go in there. But the thing is, when you go in there fast, you might make it. If you do it the right way, you send them back to the defense, to the rest of your defense.
Right.
But if you wait, you're allowing them to gain yards. These guys are fast. They're explosive. You can't catch a guy in the league and make them go backwards. You're going to go backwards.
You were an engineering major, right, in college? You said for a little bit? What does force equal?
Momentum.
No, but the formula. Force equals?
MC squared? I don't know.
Mass times acceleration.
Mass times acceleration.
Right? No, but it goes to your point, right?
Yeah.
The force you generate as a DB, it's your size combined with how fast you're going up. Force is mass times acceleration, right? So to your point, you got to make sure you get that. If you have less mass than the running back,
you got to bring it.
You know what you need?
Yeah.
You need more acceleration.
You got to bring it.
And that's how you end up with some of those maps.
And those guys, look, and I tell young guys that I coach young DBs all the time.
MC squared, I love you, man. You're great.
The young guys, like I got a guy playing for Long Island University. One of
LIU?
Schools. LIU. They play Florida. They play Florida week 1. I told them, I said, do not hit those running backs up top. Don't do it. You go low on them every single time. Because these guys are 205, 210, 220 pounds. You're 190, 180. You're going to lose. But if you attack them and you attack their legs and you hit them low, now you have them thinking about trying to run you over. Now they might hesitate a little bit. Think about Brandon Jacobs, right? You can't hit that dude up top. You cannot do it. But when you start hitting him low, now you slow Brandon Jacobs down because now he's like, oh, is he going to go on my knees? I can't run him over because I'm getting my legs chopped. You give guys something else to think about, and the Giants need to employ that on their defense. They have to.
All right, let's go to Dave in Cranford. He's up next. Excellent call, Tim. Thank you very much. Dave, you're on Big Blue Kickoff Live. You're on line 2 with John Schmeelk and Jonathan Casillas. Dave, what's going on?
Hey, it's good to talk to both of you guys, man. It's a very weird feeling to be in this, second game here of the Dart era where, a lot of people are picking us and there's a lot of expectations. I'm just not used to it. It's just a different feeling going into this game. Makes me a little nervous.
Does it make you feel any better that Las Vegas has the Giants as underdogs? Does that make you feel better about it?
That makes me feel a little bit better,
okay.
John. It makes me feel a little bit better. But I did want to mention just a couple folks and a couple thoughts to get you guys' thoughts on it. And I think one of the guys had an unbelievable game against the Chargers that doesn't that's kind of quietly come back is Andrew Thomas, man. And I think it's just so easy to. He's sort of, plays the sort of position where when you don't hear his name, you love it. That's what a left tackle wants, right? Like you really never heard. Went up against a pretty strong dude in Bud Dupree, all game long, and I think he's had a great impact on the line. And I know everyone's happy to have him back.
No, Dave, it is amazing. The guy had not stepped on a football field for a year, and in a game and a half, he has not a lot of pressure. He's been flawless.
Awesome.
He's been great in the pass game. He's been great in the run game. He has been fantastic. And
he's been Andrew Thomas.
He's been Andrew Thomas. It's been great.
Yep.
And he had a little nice fumble recovery on the 1 yard line, which also helped.
A potential game-saving fumble recovery, by the way.
110%. The thing about Jackson Dart is I'll be very fascinated, and I think that there's going to be some interesting players that will have some opportunities. I do think. Obviously, neighbors, you guys said it, John, you said it pretty clear from day one with this. There's no way to minimize the impact of losing a neighbors and saying that you're going to, next man up, all that sort of stuff. Sure. Okay, but it's a huge change. And I do think it's going to force the defenses to play much more of a one high. I don't think Jackson Dart's the sort of guy that you're going to be able to spy with a linebacker. I think he's actually, too elusive one-on-one. If you notice him in his runs, if there's one guy in front of him, he's going to make that one guy miss.
I think it depends on the linebacker, Dave. I think some of the faster linebackers, like the guys that are like 225, 230, I think they could probably spine, but those bigger, like Devin White style, 250-pound guys, they might have some trouble.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think you're going to see them drop that safety down for that role, in my opinion. But and that just brings me to Jalen Hyatt, and I know we've talked about him. He's been a really frustrating player, and he's got, in my mind, he has one major weakness. Maybe he might have a couple, but he has one major weakness. And that is he can't catch, the contested ball. And if you look back at his college game, his big game against Alabama, he's used to having used his speed in college and getting so much separation that his catches were almost
they're wide open.
4 yards.
They're wide open.
He was wide open.
Yeah.
They were just wide open. And he hasn't been able to transition. You think about Malik Neighbors, what makes Malik? It's his contested catch ability. I mean, he's great on all these other things, but it's he's unbelievable with the contested catch. So I do think that with their eyes on Dart, I do think it could open up for Slayton and for Hyatt with their speed, at least to try to push that envelope, from an offensive standpoint. And I'll be very interested to see if the Giants can at least, put some, distance and back that defense up, because they are going to stack the box. They're absolutely going to try to take away that run, and you're going to have to do something to try to soften that up. So I'd love to get you guys' thoughts on that, and I'll be listening to all your coverage. If you haven't seen the Baldinger breakdowns or the interview with Charlie Weiss, anybody listening, you should get out there and listen to both with John. They were awesome. So
checks in the mail.
Guys, have a great day.
I appreciate it, man. You can find all those on the Giants Huddle podcast, favorite podcast channel, wherever you subscribe to podcasts, Giants.com, Giants app, Giants YouTube channel. Check those out. They were good interviews. Charlie Weiss went up today. Baldy was earlier in the week. Go find them. They're there. They're awesome. Do you think it's going to be Hyatt that gets the majority of the snaps?
I mean, it'll be if they run a 3 wide receiver set.
Well, that's my second question.
Yeah.
Do they lean into more 12 personnel?
I would say yes. Yeah, because it's not just
And 12 personnel, folks, is 1 running back, 2 tight ends.
2 tight ends,
yes.
and 2 receivers. Besides 3 receivers, 1 tight end, 1 running back.
Yes.
It depends what their thought process is and what they want to do, right? I think they're going to try to run the ball, so I do think they lean into 12 personnel a little bit more. Last week, the Giants ran a lot of 11, and the tight end was playing fullback and H-back.
And by the way, I wish they would have. They used that a lot on that first drive. I wish they would have stuck with it a little bit more because I thought it worked really well.
Yeah.
I'm talking to Theo Johnson
Yep.
for the Friday huddle. That's going to be one of the big things I'm going to talk to him about because he was the fullback in a lot of those shotgun sets.
Yep, he was. And then you got a guy, and he looks willing. He looks willing to block. Yeah. He looks willing. And then you got a guy with like Cam Scatterbull that, look, he runs with a ferocious, violent mindset. And I love it too because I really think that's kind of, galvanizing the team, not just Jackson, but also Cam Scatterbull. And then if you look at Abdul Carter, the way he's playing, I think he's the one that's galvanizing the defense, right?
Yeah. And Burns, by the way. Burns, too.
Yeah, I mean, Burns
is playing out of his gourd.
There was one play, he was in space. And whenever I see him outside of the tackle box or whatever, I'm like, what is he doing out there, right? It was a zone. It was a zone concept, like play out and inside by receivers 1 and 2. Played it perfectly, made the tackle. I was like, bro, this dude's even great in space. That's twice I've seen him in space making great plays. And, of course, in front of the tackles, they have no chance. Bro, I ain't gonna lie to you. That team on Sunday, it just looked different. The team looked different collectively, offensively and defensively. They had a different type of swagger about them. They had a different type of presence. They had an early start, which we don't see from the Giants. The Giants were up by 2 scores. Schmeelk, when's the last time that happened? By 2 scores?
The Colts game last year, and before then, you're looking at like week 2.
Right. The 45-point output from the Drew Lock, which we never, ever, where'd that come from? But, like, we've never seen it, and that's what it looked like. Like, it looked like this team was better than the Chargers. Like, the way they played and attacked them is like, we know you can't throw the ball on us.
Defense got constant pressure. They the way they didn't take over the game at the end of the Dallas game, they took over the game against the Chargers. They had the 2 takeaways. They gave the offense the ball at the 3-yard line. I know Jackson Dart's the story. The defense won that game.
Absolutely.
Let's be real.
Yeah. I mean, because you got to think, right? And look, I can't say shame on the Chargers because that's their best player. Justin Herbert is their best player. So they put it in their best player hands, but it worked for the Giants defense because they have 3 guys right now on that defensive line that you can't block one-on-one.
Yeah.
They've established themselves as that. You can't block Dexter Lawrence one-on-one, not consistently, maybe every once in a while. You surprise them, right? Zero is playing like a man possessed on every single possession. And Carter looks like he's found his groove now. Not too much off the ball linebacker last week. I don't know I know you know the snap count. I don't know, but
I didn't even
whenever
look it up.
he was on the ball,
I know it was better.
right. Whenever he was on the ball, though, and I'm sorry for Burns, I love Burns. Carter looks different than everyone. He moves faster. He's quicker. He can get from the D gap to the A gap quickly. Like this, he's incredible. He's incredible.
He moves different.
We're starting to see him really kind of get into his form.
Yeah. So against the Chiefs, 13 on the defensive line, 43 as an off-ball linebacker. You can swap those. 44 on the defensive line this week and only 4 at off-ball linebacker. There you go.
I mean, obviously, the reason why he got drafted number 3, but the Chiefs was just, they were trying to, like, all right, we got to figure something out for this middle linebacker position, which is, who else would you play there besides him? So it is what it is.
Anyway, back to my original question after I took you off the track asking you about 12 personnel. When they go 11, do you think it's going to be Hyatt?
Oh, that was the question.
That was the original question that I completely lost track of.
I do believe so. And he talked about, there's a lot of things, or one thing wrong with Hyatt. The one thing wrong with anybody that's not playing the NFL, they haven't gained the trust of their coaches. That's what it really come down to.
Hey, look, we even saw at the end of what was it, the week 3 game against the Chiefs, he gets in there, gets a chance to run a play, and him and Russell Wilson are on different pages.
And if you look at the Giants receivers, Theo Johnson, Wan'Dale Robinson, throw Malik Neighbors in there. I know he's hurt right now. They've all dropped passes. So it's not about the drops. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's not about the drops. There's other things like getting lined up, being in the right position where you're supposed to be, being reliable.
If the quarterback throws it to you one-on-one in a contested situation, do they trust you? Maybe not to make the catch, but at least don't let the DB get a pick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. So that's the main thing that he's facing right now.
Can he get off the line against press? Can you rely on him to beat press
those
at the
are
line?
all problems that
They're
if
all
they trust him,
things.
they'll
Correct.
throw him out there.
Right.
It was like, all right, he struggled this play, do this next time. Like, you can get coached up, but if they can't trust you, you don't play. Like, no matter what else people think is wrong with you, they'd have to trust you.
Or
to
if you're
you.
out there and the quarterback doesn't trust you, he just ain't gonna throw you the ball.
Right. But again, he's not a big guy, so why is he out there? He's not blocking. You know what I mean? Like,
correct.
So it's like, why would you play him if you don't trust him? So if he doesn't play this weekend, that's because he hasn't built the trust up yet. Can it happen? I think so.
And I
he's
think
still young.
And I do think he'll be given the first shot. But again, look out for Bo Collins.
Yeah.
And look out for little Jordan Humphrey if he gets called up off the practice squad. So
Bigger
watch out
body
for those
guys,
two guys
both
as well.
of them.
All right, let's wrap things up today. Really good calls today. We haven't taken a ton of them. We got two more. I'm sorry. We'll get both guys in. Let's go to Rob in New London first. Rob, what's going on?
Hey, John and JC, super excited to talk to you today. How you doing?
Rob, please tell me you're calling up. I see you got the Casillas Giants career question here. Are you going to talk about one of those 50-point defensive games for me?
I blocked him
Well,
from memory.
I actually, I'm glad that you brought that up. And yes, I do have, for JC, I want to talk about 2016 real quick. Actually, I thought you guys, I was frustrated because if your offense had been a little bit better, I think your defense, especially your pass defense that year, was elite. And you could have been, if you had snuck by, we won't talk about the boat trip, if you had beaten the Packers and gotten things back to normal, I think that team really could have made some noise in the playoffs. So do you agree with that, JC, or what? And by the way, that was your best year, so congratulations on that one.
Yeah, thank you. That's a pretty good call. Yeah, I mean, I'm like, I feel like I should have had three rings. You know what I mean? Like that team, that 2016 team was a different team.
And he says the offense wasn't quite good enough. They played offense.
I'm sorry, you had a lot of low-scoring games.
Oh, no, Rob, you are completely right. No, Rob, you're right. The offense didn't score a lot of points. And I'm not going to say not scoring a lot of points was by design, but I think McAdoo knew the defense was so good, he didn't have to open up the offense.
Yeah.
And you saw it against Green Bay. Eli still had it.
Yeah.
He was slaying that thing in that game.
It was. And that, I feel like that was like, and I hate to say it, but I was here for it. Like, Eli in 15 was really, really good.
Yeah, it's just that the defense was terrible.
Right. So he had to be 300 yards a game.
Dude, remember Tom Coughlin was going for it on fourth downs like crazy because
we couldn't stop anybody.
No offense to you. We just knew if they gave the ball back. They just knew if they gave the ball back, the other team was
Spags
going
is
to
our D
score.
coordinator too, so give him some crap too. Okay, guys?
Here's the thing. We all know Spags is great and Tom is great, so it had to be the player's fault, right?
So yeah, that's great. That's awesome. But anyway, it was a great game.
Killed this week.
In terms of, what? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, Bob,
you go ahead.
You're good, man. You're fine. We're just laughing.
All right. Well, okay. So in terms of this year's team, I got to tell you, I'm really excited because I think it's because we don't really know what this offense is going to look like, because I think Jackson Dart is a weapon. I really do. And Cam Scadaboo, I think we could really punish if they make a mistake and we execute. I think we could really punish teams for making mistakes, because I think we have a potentially explosive running game, and I'd like to use the tight end in there as well. And I think our defense, the key is, number one, I'd like to play more games to get that sample size bigger. I just don't think there's enough cohesion yet. I think it's getting there. But get a lead. I'm telling you, if we can get 10 to 14 points, and I really think I'm so excited because I think this is possible now. I never want to see Russell Wilson again. That's what I learned on Sunday after watching him. But I really think that if we can get ahead 10, 14 points, I think the running game, us being able to stop the run will take care of itself, because they won't be able to. We'll be up, right?
Well, Rob, here's the thing, and appreciate the call. Really good question. I want to make sure we get to our last call before we say goodbye. I love Cam Scadaboo. I was thrilled when the Giants drafted him. I love this college tape. I don't know if I would call him an explosive running back. He can make some big runs, but he's a grinder.
Yeah.
He is going to grind out yards for you.
Yeah.
And Malik Neighbors. So I don't know how and this is kind of my worry now moving forward, how explosive can this offense be? I know Jackson Dart's willing to throw the ball down the field. I know he's got the arm to throw the ball down the field. And Darius Slayton has the speed to do it too. But consistently enough, will you have enough explosive plays from this offense to consistently score enough points? To Rob's point, which I think is right on and the correct one, get leads so the pass rush can eat.
Yeah.
That to me is my big question now that I'm going to be watching as the season goes along.
Yeah, you win the toss, receive the ball instead of deferring to the second half. I'm just saying, like, what I saw last week from the Giants, I just saw a different team than I've seen in a long time. But because they had a lead, you get to play differently. That's what that looks like. When you have a lead, it looks like that. And you have defensive linemen that can eat and beat anybody one-on-one. You have to have a lead to do that. This is the thing with the Saints. I don't think they care if they're down. They're going to run the football. They have one of the best running backs in the league in Kamara. And that other kid, he's been playing lights out, too.
Yeah, KJ Miller's looked good, man. He has.
He's been playing really good ball. And Spencer Rattler, I feel like
they don't want to put the game in his hands.
I don't feel like they will, I don't feel like they will. I feel like even if the game is out of whack, they're still going to try to get the ball to Kamara, get the ball to their tight end, get the ball to Olave. Spencer Rattler has been very decisive on him running the football. At least that's what I saw from Buffalo, and hearing the commentators talking about him being decisive going into it, he looked like it. So think about, like I'm telling you, there's a lot of similarities in these offenses, from the Saints offense to the Giants offense. You have a young quarterback that can run the RPO game, right, that wants to be able to run the football, not just give the ball, but run the ball himself, and wants to make plays downfield. He has a 5 touchdown to 1 interception ratio, but he doesn't throw the ball down the field. You know what I mean? So he's a guy that... By
the way, he has the arm, too. He's capable of it. He just hasn't done it this year for whatever reason.
I don't know if this game is going to have a lot of big plays.
No, I think you might be right. This is going to be like 3 yards and a cloud of dust.
Might be a little boring. Might be a little slow.
Well, I should correct myself. It'll be 3 yards and a cloud of rubber pellets.
Right, exactly. And if the Giants do get a lead, though, then you not sit back, but you just approach it differently, especially towards the end of the half, how you call the plays. And then at the end of the game, of course, the last, fourth quarter, if they're up, they got to have to pass the ball, and this is where the Giants is going to eat at. So, Calder, he had a great point. I truly think the recipe for the Giants is trying to get a lead early and allowing the guys on your defense to do what they do best, which is rush the pass.
And you're right. The Giants have not gotten off to a lot of fast starts the last 3 years.
Yeah.
So let's try to keep that going. All right, wrapping up today will be Gary in Houston with an interesting question. Gary, what's going on? Gary going once. Gary, where you at, bro? Gary, don't do that. No. All right, Gary, thanks for the call. Yeah, Johnny Mac. Oh, Gary, you there? Gary?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, is this Gary?
It's Darian.
All right, Darian. Well, I guess we'll take your call to wrap things up. Darian, what's going on?
Hi, yeah, I'm down in Houston. I'm actually headed to the game this week. I used to live in Delaware, so I used to go to the Philly game every year.
Yes, sir.
So I haven't been able to go. But I had a quick question. So assuming Malik Neighbors wasn't injured, if you could add 2 players to this current Giants roster, one on offense and one on defense, any former Giant that you think could potentially turn this team into a playoff team or potential Super Bowl contender, what former Giant would they be?
Is this all? Wait, guy, hold on. Is this Darian? Hold on. Is this all-time Giants or guys that are active now?
No, all time.
Oh, geez. All right. Appreciate the call.
That's a great question.
It's a good question.
On offense, he said, right?
He said either
side. I mean, you can't not add Lawrence Taylor to any Giants team.
Here's the problem: you already have. I know.
You already got so many pass rushers.
I know. Who would I add?
I'm thinking too. You got to add a great lineman.
I'm thinking
great guard.
I would consider like a Leonard Marshall, or maybe like a Linval Joseph type, or maybe like Snacks in his prime.
Ooh. Yeah.
How about Jason Seorn in his prime?
Yeah.
Lockdown, shutdown corner. That wouldn't be bad.
No, for sure.
You know what? I'm going to go, and if you want to really go back, you want to go and pick like Emlyn Tennell with his 50 career interceptions. You want to go back that far and pick a defensive back? I'll go Emlyn Tennell if you want. But if you want to do more modern for the modern sensibilities of the younger folks, I'll go Seahorn. I'll add Sehorn on defense.
So I'll go offense. One of my favorite guy I played with, Jeremy Shockey.
Dude,
he just brings
that's
that.
a good one.
But
Imagine
him with
putting
Dart,
him with Scatterboo. Dude, I'm not sure the locker room can handle that. You want a certain level of craziness in your locker room, you might get over that thin red line a little bit by having Dart, Scatterboo, Shockey.
Yeah.
But that would be entertaining, though.
Oh, very entertaining.
That would be fun.
Imagine Shockey, bro, right now playing how the game is now, with how they kind of let tight ends eat as much as they do now.
Dude, that is not bad. That is not bad.
All
right. So now you pick your defensive player.
My defensive player, I mean, I would say LT. Let's exclude LT because LT goes on.
LT's too easy.
He's too easy, and it's hard to fit him here.
I was trying to be more creative.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
Maybe like Harry Carson.
I'm staying away from linebackers.
Okay, no linebacker. Okay.
Or if I do, it'd be middle. But Harry Carson's a middle, right? I like Harry. I'm trying to think of safeties. Who's a top?
I mean, you go Julian Love, Xavier McKinney.
Even better than them. I like them. But
you want to go, Everson Walls, he was a corner, but he was a guy that was able to get a lot of picks. You want to go back.
Let me do this because I
go?
played with him and he was really good when he was here, when he was young. Landon Collins.
Oh, you want to go prime Landon Collins,
His first couple years, I'm not going to lie to you, bro. I played with great safeties. I played with Darren Sharper before all the extra stuff happened. He was amazing. 10 interceptions. Landon,
Darren Sharper owned Eli Manning.
Yeah, he was
Killed
awesome. Landon, his first 2 years in the league, holy smokes, bro. Like, I'm played next to him.
And he almost played more like a linebacker than a safety.
So I played Will, and he played free. And he would be coming down on the run support, and I wouldn't see him. I would hear him. And I'm fitting up, I'm locked in. I'm just hitting the guard. I'm hitting the fullback. And I heard, wow. And his Landon sending the running back to the sky. And he had a lot of interceptions. He had some sacks. Like, he was a do-everything guy. And the reason why, because I know some of the safeties that play for the Giants, but I seen Landon play. He was one of the best safeties I played with. When I'm talking about those couple years. How his career panned out, I don't know. But when he was here, holy smokes, he was good.
Okay, I know where I'm going here. Because he said assuming Malik Neighbors is healthy. I could argue you put like Hakeem Nicks across from Malik Neighbors on this team.
Ooh.
Or Victor.
Ooh, Vic is.
So
Vic's
I
special.
would consider one of those two guys. That would be my exciting one. With the Tyrone Tracy injury, pairing Tiki with Cam in the backfield.
Yeah.
That would also be a lot of fun. I have to give some love to my
Thunder
former co-host.
Thunder and Lightning.
But I'm going to go more boring here. You know who I want? Give me Chris Snee.
I was thinking him. Remember I said guard first.
Give me Chris Snee
Right
in
guard?
his prime.
Is he right? Left? Right
Chris Snee played right guard.
Right guard?
Right? No, wait. Or was he Johnny Mack? No, he was right guard, Chris Snee, right? Correct? Right or wrong? I'm pretty sure he was right guard.
Not the Chris Snee that's in the building walking around at 250. I want him
No.
320.
We want correct. That is absolutely correct. So I would go Chris Snee. I think that's what I would do. And I think that's who I would slide in there if I was to pick one guy to help the offense.
I like it.
Could I pick Eli Manning or could I pick Eli or Phil Sims at quarterback? I'm assuming he doesn't need quarterback.
But I like that though, because let's be honest about this. The last few years, the Giants' guard play hasn't been elite. It's been good at times. It's been porous. I want to say consistently, but it's been porous. And Chris Snee, he was a monster.
Yeah, right guard. I was correct. He was right guard.
Yeah.
I don't want to fool myself there, but yes, he was
right guard. And he played
guard.
how many plays am I looking at right there? That's a.
Oh, well, he played over 1,000 snaps in
2010.
Over 1,000 snaps in both 2010, 2011. Yeah. I was just double checking. He was right next to Kareem McKenzie all those years. So, but yeah, I think those would be the names that I would think about. Assuming you're not going to put
Shockey and Snee on offense.
Shockey's fun. I would love to see the Shockey Scatterboo dynamic. That would be something.
Yeah.
I covered Shockey for a couple years. Actually, I worked here only for 1 year when he was here, but I was traveling with the team the other year. He was crazy.
He was a character.
Oh, he was crazy.
I had him in New Orleans.
I know.
I was a rookie when he was there.
I'm not going to say. Did he decorate his locker in the same unique way in New Orleans as he did here?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm not gonna. I'll talk to you after the show about that.
All right.
So yeah, That's Big Blue Kickoff Live. Give me your feel. To think like a 17-14, 20-17 type of game here is what we're looking at?
Yeah,
I think so too.
I think so too, yep. I think it's not as many possessions, I think, is going to happen.
Yeah, JC, good stuff, my man. For Jonathan Casillas, I'm John Schmeelk. That's Big Blue Kickoff Live, presented by Cadillac, the official luxury vehicle of the Giant, from the Hackensack Meridian Health Podcast Studio. Keep getting better. By the way, don't forget, I should have brought up earlier, the 5K Racing Kids Run presented by Quest, Sunday, October 26th, 9 a.m. It's coming. Go get your tickets. Giants.com/5K. Net proceeds will benefit the Giants Foundation. It's a 501c3 nonprofit corporation. You get a free t-shirt. You get a post-race festival with Giants legends, a live DJ. Again, Giants.com/5K. Go check it out. For JC, I'm Schmeelk. Tomorrow it's Datino on SciTac. Check out Big Blue Kickoff Live on Saturday morning at 7 a.m. with Mark Malusis and I. And then Tiki and I have the pregame show on Sunday at 11 on The Fan. We'll talk to you tomorrow. See you later.